My name is Dr. Rick Saguil.
And action. Hey, Jay had a... This is Kirk, man. And action. Hey, everyone, it's Dr. Rick. And Joy had a question on what's the best form of exercise for her. Being middle-aged, it's sometimes hard to decide what should you do for the amount of free time you have. But if this is the first time you're finding me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if this helps you move forward in your life as far as healthy lifestyle change, give me a thumbs up or at least pass it to somebody else. So the idea with exercise design, taking it from a doctor's perspective, I always have to make sure that you know what your goal is. And the goal is to move, because most Americans don't move. Stagnation is being taught even in our elementary schools as far as staying in front of the computer, or for our adults, staying in front of the TV on the couch. And I think we're overscheduled, but that's a different video. But however, just moving is cool. I have a lot of patients and I ask them what their activity is as far as eliciting a little bit of Q&A so I can best understand who's in the room with me. They will emphatically say, I walk, and I walk hour and a half a day. And I think that's admirable, but everybody should be doing that. Now, I also have patients that say, I walk a lot at work, and under duress, that is activity, but that's not exactly what the body wants. So to fulfill your criteria for moving, I guess that's okay. However, you have to understand what the importance of exercise is. The importance of exercise is several different stages, and I like the NASM OPT model, and they break it down into 5 stages. The first stage, just to go through this, because I think it's a nice understanding of how people should be designing your exercise routine, whether it's a physical therapist, a doctor, or an exercise physiologist, or a personal trainer. I think your coach, we acting as your coach, should be able to put together something in somewhat of a regular algorithm or time frame format. So first is phase 1. Let's just go through these real quick. That's stabilization and endurance. And stabilization, everybody has to prove it first. I have a lot of people that do a one-leg lift and they're like this, or they lift really high up and they do fine, but I have some folks that can't even do that. Both feet. Or I have some folks, you close your eyes and it's whoa. So stabilization is important, because if we move forward after without paying attention to stabilization, we do explosive high tempo exercises, you're going to get injured. So it's important. And you're working a little bit of muscle as well. You're kind of priming the pump. The next phase, there's 3 of them in the second category, and that would be strength. And first, it's strength endurance. Strength and endurance are important because you have to get used to the perceived exertion. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to exercise, but if somebody guides you as far as what you're supposed to experience, that this shortness of breath or this muscular ache is okay, great. But there also has to be somebody of a good coach keeping eyes on to make sure that ache isn't actually the muscle saying, I am about to tear. So it takes, I think I'd probably stay with a designer, an exercise designer that's probably the same age as a basic building block. Now, I can go with young people, I can go with old people, I can go with disabled people. I can design, because I'm working backwards. I know the pathology, and I can apply the exercise or the muscle mechanics to the pathology. Some people don't know the pathology, they know the muscle mechanics, and they go forward. So it's a little different. However, after developing strength and endurance and getting used to that, then you have to try to develop hypertrophy. So once you get into a groove, muscles know how to stabilize, how to know position, sense, and proprioception, and then you can push them a little bit. Then you want the muscles to grow. Hypertrophy is growth. And that's when you put a little bit more tempo or decrease this rest between sets, repetitions, to get the muscle to be stressed. So hormesis is this concept where if you put undue stress on a system, it fixes itself to tolerate the stress more. So if you make the muscles and the cardiac or the cardiovascular system turn on a little more, then not to the point of injury, but turn a little more, then the next time after repair, it will be ready for more work. And that's where you grow mitochondria, you get the blood vessels of the muscle more efficient. That's hypertrophy. The next step, which is phase 4 after hypertrophy, when you've grown muscle, is to maximize on strength. And this is where the doc, the physical therapist, the trainer, or the exercise physiologist will design something to push you even harder. Now, when you push harder, because you developed the mitochondria and you've worked on tolerating symptoms of exercise and shortness of breath, and if you worked on stabilization, then we start to make muscle tolerate more weight, more endurance, more stabilization, more power. So we're putting an undue load and we're really testing the muscle. If all that stuff works, then usually phase 5, power. And that's when you really explode and you take the advantage, or you take advantage of the stuff that you have taught the muscle. So usually at that stage, you've reached the top or the pinnacle. And then I say, in addition, it would be repeat the whole system or the whole process, because at that point, usually most people would either say, okay, I'm good, don't need any coaching anymore. But my thing with being a doctor is that everybody needs coaching, because there's going to come a time when, even if you know what you're doing and if you've adapted and you've learned and you read a lot of things on YouTube and you dismiss your coach, you're going to age and you're going to get shorter, bigger, taller. Well, you probably won't get taller unless you're adolescent, but things will change in your environment. Things will change in your metamorphosis as you age. And sometimes the old concepts from before will not serve you as you age. So it takes, again, a reworking of this whole system based on how you tolerated the last stressor, how the body grew or developed strength, and what your age-related issues are. I mean, if you're a caregiver and you're burned out and you only have this amount of time or hours at night, or if you now have arthritis, or if you now have high blood pressure, well, hopefully those medical diseases will not ever come up, because you're paying it forward with lifestyle change early on. Now, if you're 70 and you're starting this and I'm designing something for you, or the other coaches I talked to you about are designing stuff, it might be a challenge. But again, understand this. When you have this OPT model, it's not a challenge because it can be applied to anybody. It just takes thinking and contemplation from your coach to do it properly to give you success, and ultimately live the longest life you can live without hitting the typical diseases. And that's why I at least start with hiking. I think hiking is innocent. I think anybody can do it. You don't need a lot of equipment. You actually test your stability when you're up with me on the steps. And then then you can grow, depending on, you probably can't hit the power phase unless you're hiking aggressively with scrambling on rocks, but you can at least check these things, keep these in check, have fun, get outside in Chicago, because everybody stays inside in the wintertime, and all year round. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea about what to do with regards to, what to expect with regards to personal design. It's always moving forward. So my guys that say that they know what they're doing because they've been runners for a long time, or they worked out in high school, please be careful. The stuff that we have done before, it'll serve you to a certain degree, but it might not get you to the point of where we want to get to. And that's longevity without injury. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and pass this along to anybody else that's kind of on the fence with regards to starting a new routine, starting a new lifestyle change, or considering the investment in a coach. See you at the next video.